first two Infamous games were some of my favourite games of last generation. They were just so unique and just gave me a sense of power that no other game did before. So, when Infamous Second Son was announced last year for the PS4, naturally I shat my pants.
In 1999, I took part in a political rally.
Whoa, holy fuck, it's Nate Fox! Sucker Punch's next game!
I'm Nate Fox, here to introduce to you Sucker Punch's latest game, exclusive for the PlayStation 4.
Go on then.
Your safety is our top priority. The DUP is in control. To expedite scanning, please remove all links and resources. The DUP is in control.
G6 status.
You are not in control.
So, naturally my hopes were more than a little high. Did it live up to my expectations? Well, that's what this review's for.
You think this is a joke?
No, I don't.
Is this how you want to leave your mark on the world, huh?
So, the story takes place 7 years after the events of Infamous 2. So, if you haven't played Infamous 2 yet, there's going to be spoilers here, so play it. There, I gave you enough warning. Anyways, the story takes place 7 years after the events of Infamous 2's good ending. When Cole killed the Beast and cured the Plague, most conduits were killed.
Even some folks overseas were keeling over. Poor bastards must have been conduits and didn't even know it.
However, a few survived. The few that did survive were for some reason discriminated against. You take control of Delson Rowe, a young graffiti artist who was part of an Okamish tribe who is constantly being prosecuted by his brother Reggie. However, when a truck full of conduits crashes right beside him, Delson absorbs the powers of one of them and suddenly his life is turned upside down. As the DUP, conduit control police lads, assholes, that's all you need to know, catch up with Delson and threaten him for info. Megabitch Augustine, the leader of the DUP, poisons and sticks massive rocks in his tribe's people, and the only way to get them out is to go and get the same power of Augustine. So Reggie and Delson make their way to Seattle to steal Bitchface's power. So yeah, the story is pretty basic and linear, and it never really strays off that path. A few twists and turns here and there, but pretty much that's the story. Go get to Seattle and get cure or the power. But that's a good thing about it as well, because the story is really easy to follow. I was never in a mission where I didn't know why I was doing this or what the hell I need to do this for. And it's all woven together very beautifully, so the story is grand. It also really does a great job of making Augustine an absolute bitch. I mean, you really want to kill this bitch. You want to murder her in cold blood. And yeah, they do a great job with her character, and with all the characters actually. Delson is incredibly likeable. He's one of the most likeable video game characters ever, probably.
And of course, the only downside being that, nope, can't think of anything. This is pretty freaking awesome.
All the main characters are incredibly good actors. I mean, they really outdone themselves with the casting here. The acting is tremendous on every character, pretty much. Other than pedestrians, because the pedestrians have laughably bad voice acting. Their voice acting is just hilarious.
I think Betty's still inside. This is a bioterrorist too.
The comic book scenes return with a little twist. They're kind of more spray painty now, and they are awesome as usual. It does the job of explaining the different characters' backstory, which is great. I'm glad I was worried when I saw the trailers and I forget that I was going to leave that out, but no, I was so glad when I saw them, and it's a shame there is just so little of them, just very few of them, but I'm just glad they're in there. The cutscenes that portray the story are just beautiful. They're probably some of the nicest cutscenes ever in a video game, and it is really showing off the next gen tech. I mean, little tiny details such as Reggie's chewing gum, when he's chewing gum in one scene, and you can see his chewing gum in his mouth, and it's just things like that just blow my mind about how far these games have come.
Well, thank you.
The game has amazing dialogue, and the character interaction just makes up for the very basic narrative. Not that the story is bad or anything, but that just makes it so much better. The facial recognition just adds so much to the cutscenes as well. I mean, the faces move so realistically, if a bit creepy at times. One of the gripes with it though is that it doesn't really have much to do with InFAMOUS other than people with powers and a few references here and there. This could have been a completely different game.
Not a traitor, are you?
My main gripe with the story though, as with all other InFAMOUS games, is that the karma system doesn't really affect the story in any way whatsoever. Other than a different ending, the story is pretty much the exact same story, no matter what choices you make, so fix that up for the next game. Sucker Punch, we say that at the end of every game. Overall though, the story, it does the job well, and it is the best story in any game this gen, which isn't hard in fairness, but yeah, so kudos to Sucker Punch. Story will be getting 8.5 out of 10. Now for the presentation. This game looks incredible. Definitely the best looking game on the PS4 so far. The animations are brilliant and fluid. They work together brilliantly. It's so natural. And however, the climbing is not nearly as fun as it used to be, and it's not as reliable, and animations in climbing is a bit sloppy actually. I don't know why they couldn't keep the mechanic from the previous games. Probably some technical thing that I don't know about, so I don't know. Yeah, the climbing is a bit weird, but it's a good thing you don't have to rely on it as much as you do in the older games. There are little attention to details that really got on my nerves. For example, you don't get wet in the game, even when it's clearly raining. Delson just will not get wet. And stepping into puddles just does not. You step into a puddle and as if the puddle isn't there. Ah! I forgot puddles actually done something! Overall though, the game's presentation is great. There's very little pop-in or anything, and the graphics are just blow your mind, so presentation 7.8 out of 10. Little attention to detail get on my nerves.
And everything looks stunning, and we're at 1080p, and everything is just incredible looking. And here we are over in Soundland being like, hey, it's also gonna sound a lot better too.
The music in this game, the soundtrack in this game, is one of the best soundtracks in a video game ever. Just listen to some of these tracks. No, seriously, just listen.
And of course, my personal favourite.
Judging by that, I can't do anything but give music 10. 10 out of 10.
This is pretty freaking awesome.
Now for arguably the most important part, the gameplay. The gameplay is as fun as ever and gives you a tremendous sense of power. I mean, even more than the first two games, which is just brilliant. That's everything I asked for. This looks like the game Sucker Punch finally wanted to make. The first and second game, you didn't really feel like a superhero, you just felt like a really incredibly powerful psychopath. In this, you feel like a superhero. Delson's ability to absorb powers from other conduits is genius. Each power feels different, looks incredible, and are not complicated at all to use. This is also the hardest InFAMOUS game yet, but that's not a bad thing. It makes you think and need good tactics. Whenever you die, it's nearly always your fault and not the game's, making you mad at yourself instead of the game. The frame rate never drops and there is barely any pop-ins in the entire game. There are also little flashbacks to Sly Cooper, such as taking pictures at crime scenes. Most reviewers would find this tedious, but as a mad Sly Cooper fan myself, I loved it. However, the gameplay isn't perfect. Of course it isn't perfect. There's no such thing as perfect gameplay. I think the biggest hitch in the game is the camera. The camera is very annoying at times. I mean, it gets in your way, it gets stuck behind walls, and especially at peak times when you're in the middle of a crazy firefight or power fight and the camera just gets stuck behind a wall, you can't see where you are, and you die. It happens rarely when you die, but when it does, it's so infuriating. There is one boss fight in particular though where it happens a lot, and they could have done a little more polish in that level, which it just infuriated me. The camera, you're in an enclosed space and the camera was just all over the place. I died so many times in that boss only because of the camera, and that really annoyed me. The boss battles are long and boring. Oh no, they're not good boss battles in this game whatsoever. They're just tedious and make you mad. Apart from the final boss, the very final boss, which is amazing. I mean, my mind was blown when I saw it. It really showed off the power of the PS4. As I mentioned in presentation, the climbing isn't as fun, but it's a good thing you don't need it as much. Also, the open world gameplay is pretty much the exact same as it was in other games. Look for blast cores, do side missions, which are a bit better in this installment, but not by much. They're still pretty boring and generic, like go get this, hey take a picture of this, hey go here and beat up these lads, hey do this, hey help me, hey find this camera and destroy it. It's very generic as usual, but well, I still enjoy them nonetheless. I mean, I just find it addictive. I don't know why. I find it addictive just flying around the city looking for things to do while I'm trying to platinum the game, which, yeah, it adds depth to the game, but it doesn't make the game any better. Also, I need to mention Paper Trail. Paper Trail is one of the best ideas ever. I mean, this idea is just incredible. It is so exciting how the future, this is what Mark Cerny's always talking about the future of games, the way he sees the future of games, that every day you go on to a game, there's going to be something different on the game. I mean, times I say game there, but anyway, every time you log on to this game, that there's going to be new content every day, and this is the start of it. Basically, what Paper Trail is that it's an online game which connects with your PSN account, and it gives you extra missions to do in the game, and you unlock new missions in the game every week. I think they're releasing them, and every time there's a new mission added to the site, it's added to your game, and you have a mission to do, and like you have to discover the secrets of DUP. It's very cool. Such an amazing idea. I really commend Sucker Punch for doing this. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, there was a lot of bad things there, wasn't there? But at the end of the day, I really enjoyed the gameplay. I mean, the gameplay is as fun as ever. Probably funner than the last two games, because you actually really feel like a superhero, and as I said, it gives you a sense of empowerment that none of the other games did. And what the hell am I doing with this hook? Ow! I just nearly hit myself in the face. Go away. Oh, hit the green screen. Well done. Yeah. But yeah, the gameplay is tremendously fun, and I really enjoyed it. It's more than the last two games, because it's awesome. So, the final score for the gameplay is a 9 out of 10. Probably a bit high, some of you are thinking, but I enjoyed the hell of it. And that's pretty much the review. But it's time for the final verdict. What am I giving the overall score? Which is what really matters now. The overall score. What is the overall score for this game? Well, my little friends, let me think. As many negatives and all as there is, as many bad things that the game does wrong, it is so more overpowered by the amazingly well done things, the amazingly fun gameplay, the amazingly tremendous acting, the amazing graphics and presentation. The game is, in my mind, a masterpiece. Sure, professional reviewers and people may find it a bit boring, all the side missions, and that's why the game is getting such, well, not, I wouldn't say average, but I'd say such just good reviews. I'm giving it a very good review. I'm giving it a great review because the game, I enjoyed the hell out of it, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. So, InFAMOUS Second Son, from me, is getting a 9 out of 10. And it's getting a fucking go out and buy this game approval, because this game, buy it. It is awesome. When you buy it, you will not be disappointed. Trust me. InFAMOUS Second Son was the reason I bought a PS4, and the amount of hype I had for it was just insane, and I cannot believe it actually lived up, but it surpassed the hype. So, that's the review. Thanks for watching, lads, and I'll see you for the next one.
I did this. And I gotta fix it.
She asked me like a Pisces when I am weak. I've been locked inside your heart-shaped box for weeks. I've been drawn into your magnets all pictured. I wish I could eat your cancer.
You are not in control.
You turn black. Hey, wait, I got a new complaint. Forever inside to your privacy vibe. Hey, wait, I got a new complaint. Forever inside to your privacy vibe. Hey, wait, I got a new complaint.
Bro being young from. However, when a truck full of conduit was and fuck and for the presentation. Better move my script. That might go in the bloopers.
It's forgive no.